So in addition to so many rights that are being taken away from us today, via this fascist party, which was once referred to as the GOP. In addition to the many rights that citizens of the United States are being denied today, including the right to vote, the right to protest injustice, the right to live peacefully, in a sense, because with the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict and the failure, to convict a murderer who essentially, went to a place of peaceful protest and demonstration, armed with an assault rifle, with the intention of murdering us, and did, and got away with it because the U.S. justice system essentially, believes that certain types of lives are important and certain types of lives aren't important. And if you look at the way that in the trial, the individuals who were murdered were maligned, you can see what the strategy was. That the idea was that these people don't deserve to live, and that's a very fascist idea, isn't it? Because the Nazis in Germany, in addition to having a policy of extermination, of the Jewish people, also had a policy of extermination involving gypsies and people with disabilities and individuals who identified as homosexual, lesbian, or in other ways that that particular society viewed as perverse and offensive to their socially organized existence. And the same strategy is being used today, right? Was used in that trial, and our lives don't matter. And the anti-abortionists, basically say the same thing regarding women. Your lives and your right to determine the course of your life isn't as consequential as our rights to describe you as a use value in the production of patriarchal society. And so, in addition to all of those other rights being taken away from us now, it looks very much like the Supreme Court of the United States will take away women's right to choose the course of their lives. And I was thinking about this in a number of ways, and I was thinking about the fact that the justices seated on the Supreme Court now are really only there because Republicans have gerrymandered voting and restricted voting, and have used the Electoral College to secure positions as president. And in 3 instances of justices on the Supreme Court, those justices wouldn't be there if the democratic process in the United States was in fact one individual, one vote, and wasn't structured in a way that gives advantage to the Republican Party, and that gives more voting clout, to individuals that vote in states with smaller populations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I've addressed that issue before, and the need, to challenge all of the ways that voting rights and voting power, within the democratic process is distributed, and how we had when we had a democracy, which I don't believe we have anymore. Because if you have a democracy, it involves, that people play by the rules, so that if a candidate wins, then the opposing candidate accepts that loss and concedes an election. But if you have a party, an entire party, that refuses to accept defeat, but pretends, to be part of the democratic process, it's not really a democracy, is it? It's something else. So I'm not entirely sure. Okay, well, anyway, going back to the Supreme Court, if those individuals, had not been placed on the Supreme Court, and the individuals had been appointed by Democratic presidents, as they should have been in a reasonable, democratic system in which the power of presidency is mandated by popular vote, and not by, I won't say conspiracies, but organizations of power that ensure, unfair results in elections. It sounds a lot like conspiracy, but, like I said, I won't use that term. But the configuration of the Supreme Court would be radically different from what it is today, and we wouldn't have this issue. So if it can't be resolved as a result of democracy, and it can't be resolved by the integrity of the Supreme Court as a result of our lack of democracy and democratic process, then I was thinking, how can we deal with the injustices of today, and the fact that our rights and abilities, to determine our own destinies and courses of living, we're being deprived of these rights. And I thought, I thought of, my teacher, Dennis Brutus, and how would Dennis Brutus do this? And so I thought of, economic sanctions, and I thought of, publicizing economic sanctions, and I thought of strategies of, socially organized strategies of resistance based on economics. And I thought this: in those states where, abortion rights for women are being denied, the issue, is all around, healthcare and the medical establishment, isn't it? If one takes it out of the courts, and so it becomes about doctors, and it becomes about hospitals, and it becomes about healthcare, doesn't it? So everyone should, ask their doctor, do you support abortion rights? And if the doctor says, well, it doesn't matter because that's illegal or whatever, no, press it, but personally, if it were legal here, would you support those rights? And if the doctor says no, find another doctor. So what I'm suggesting is everyone should boycott all health work industries and organizations and individual doctors and performers in any aspect of healthcare in the United States that fails to support women's right to choose what to do with their bodies. And this can be done on a personal level, and it can be organized, right, in communities. And so in addition to protest, boycott, we did this, we've been doing this for a long time. And it's one of the things that made the United Farm Workers Association, a force to be reckoned with, was the power of boycotts. So in addition to unionization and the work that was done on behalf, of those workers, organizing and demanding, fair wages, it was also supported from the consumerist positionality. as a series of widespread and effective economic boycotting, and this seems to me like a really powerful and useful solution set in this, because we've, like I said, we've been deprived of democracy, we've been deprived of a reasonable Supreme Court system that respects our rights. Clearly, they don't. So what can still be done, it seems to me, is that protests can be made at this level. We're looking at, this is a page from NPR, and narratives and stories can be told, but also organizations of boycotting, as I said, any individual and any organization and any institution that does not support women's right to choose. So ask your hospital, ask your doctor, ask your healthcare provider, if you have one, what the position is, and refusal to respond to your to your request for information about the position can be taken as that the individual does not support women's right to choose. And then if that's the case, just find another source, because you have to think about your rights now in terms of what you're contributing to the individuals whose strategies of oppression are harming you, and make decisions based on that. That's the one thing that it seems to me that we have left, and so that's that's my take on the situation today. And honestly, I would very much prefer that we had an intelligent and sophisticated and compassionate and humanitarian court system, and that it could be resolved there. But I don't believe that that's the case. I believe that the United States today is in many ways becoming what South Africa was prior to the dissolution of apartheid. And that struggles will have to be engaged in the same manner and on the same level that those struggles were at that time. And so we look for strategies, where we can find them, and I think this is a very reasonable strategy.